Tales from Philippine History. Embark on a captivating journey through the stories that have not only shaped the Philippines, but have also left an indelible mark on its identity. From the intricate tapestry of historical conflicts between Islam and Christianity to the vivid chapters of cultural interplay, the Battle of Mactan, leadership and strategies. The Battle of Mactan was primarily fought between the Spanish expedition led by Ferdinand Magellan and the indigenous warriors under the leadership of their chieftain, Lapu-Lapu. Magellan's forces were armed with muskets, swords, and armor, while Lapu-Lapu's warriors utilized traditional weapons such as spears and bows. Tensions and miscommunications. Tensions between the Spanish and the indigenous people had been escalating prior to the battle. Miscommunications and cultural differences added to the misunderstandings. Magellan's attempts to assert Spanish authority and convert the locals to Christianity were met with resistance. Death of Magellan. During the battle, Ferdinand Magellan was killed by Lapu-Lapu's warriors. This marked a significant moment in the conflict and had broader implications for the course of the Spanish expedition in the Philippines. Magellan's death also highlighted the risks and challenges of navigating unfamiliar territories. Legacy of resistance. The victory of Lapu-Lapu and his warriors over the Spanish forces has been remembered as a symbol of indigenous resistance against foreign colonization. It holds a place of significance in Philippine history as an early example of standing up against external domination. Cultural and religious context. While the battle was not primarily about religion, it did involve clashes between the beliefs and practices of the indigenous people and the religious perspectives brought by the Spanish. The battle serves as a historical marker of the complex interplay between cultures and faiths. Historical representations. The Battle of Mactan has been commemorated in various ways in Philippine culture. It is often depicted in artworks, literature, and historical accounts. The event is celebrated during the annual Kadaugan sa Mactan festival in Cebu, which honors the bravery of Lapu-Lapu and his warriors. Impact on exploration. The Battle of Mactan had implications for the larger European exploration of the region. Magellan's death altered the course of the expedition, and it was ultimately led to completion by other members of his crew. The battle and its aftermath played a role in shaping the early interactions between Europeans and Filipinos. Significance in national identity. The battle is a source of pride for Filipinos, symbolizing their heritage of resistance and courage in the face of external forces. It is often cited as an example of the country's rich history of struggle and resilience. Spanish colonial period in the Philippines and its impact on religious changes, tensions, and uprisings. Religious conversion strategies. Spanish missionaries employed various strategies to convert indigenous populations to Christianity. They used religious icons, images, and rituals to convey Christian teachings. Baptisms were a central aspect of conversion, symbolizing a break from indigenous beliefs and a new beginning in the Christian faith. Introduction of Christian practices. Spanish missionaries introduced European-style churches, which became focal points for religious activities and community gatherings. Religious festivals, such as processions and feasts, were adapted to incorporate Christian themes, blending indigenous customs with Catholic traditions. Resistance to conversion. While some indigenous communities accepted Christianity, many resisted due to their attachment to traditional beliefs and practices. The imposition of a new religion often clashed with the spiritual connections they held to their ancestors and natural surroundings. Syncretism and folk Catholicism. The process of syncretism resulted in the merging of Catholicism and indigenous beliefs. This gave rise to practices like anting, the use of religious charms or amulets believed to provide protection, which combined elements of Catholicism and indigenous spirituality. Local priesthood. The Spanish introduced the concept of the local priesthood, where native Filipinos were trained as priests to assist in the conversion process. This approach aimed to bridge the gap between Spanish missionaries and indigenous communities. Tamblot Uprising, 1621. The Tamblot Uprising, led by a native priest named Tamblot, was sparked by opposition to the imposition of Christianity and the suppression of indigenous practices. The uprising was centered in Bohol and aimed to resist Spanish influence and religious conversion. Dagohoy Rebellion, 1744 to 1829. The Dagohoy Rebellion, one of the most prolonged uprisings in Philippine history, was rooted in both religious and political factors. Francisco Dagohoy led a rebellion against Spanish authorities due to a dispute over burying his brother in consecrated ground. The rebellion evolved into a fight for autonomy and cultural preservation. Religious orders and cultural influence. Different religious orders had varying approaches to conversion. The Franciscans, Dominicans, Augustinians, and Jesuits each left distinct imprints on the religious and cultural landscape of the Philippines through their missions and institutions. Impact on indigenous cultures. The introduction of Christianity led to shifts in indigenous cultures. Traditional rituals, practices, and beliefs faced suppression, and many indigenous languages were replaced by Spanish and the languages used in religious teachings. Legacy of colonialism. The Spanish colonization's religious impact has had lasting effects on Filipino society. The Philippines remains predominantly Catholic, and religious festivities continue to play a significant role in local communities. Cultural heritage. Despite conflicts, the Spanish period also left behind a rich cultural heritage. Baroque-style churches, religious art, and colonial architecture are still prominent in many parts of the Philippines.